So you've had a major life change, marriage, divorce, you name it. How does that affect your finances, and what do I need to know? Hi, I'm Dave Lopez, founder and managing member of ILG Financial.
And I'm Chase Lopez, financial advisor at ILG Financial, and this is another episode of our video series, Retire Your Way with ILG Financial, where we talk all things retirement planning. Now, Dave, before we jump in, just want to let the audience know, go ahead and hit the like and subscribe button down below. That way you get all of our future videos in the future when we talk about other topics as well.
Yep. So let's just jump right into this.
Sure,
Major life changes. You've got a major life change, and you want to know, how does that change my finances, and what do I need to know to protect myself, protect my family, and get things to go the way I want them to go? Mm-hmm. Well, there's all kinds of life changes,
Sure.
right? Especially if you're in or near retirement. Mm-hmm. So what we're going to do to keep this video to the length we want to keep it at is we're going to just do rapid fire. We won't go into detail, but these are just, as you're listening to this, some things to be aware of. And you'll hear the takeaway here is things to be aware of, and maybe get with your financial advisor and ask them, how do we need to handle this? Because sometimes if you make a mistake and it's too late to fix it, there's just horror stories of where this stuff, your money didn't go where you wanted it to go because you never thought of something. Mm-hmm. This video will help with that.
Yeah, so let's start off with marriage, right? That's a very big life event. You want to talk about, combining finances. Do you want a joint bank account? You want to see what your budget is going to be as a couple to make sure you can still cover that budget. And do we need a prenup? Is that needed, or do we desire having that?
Yep, a couple things to think about. Mm-hmm. Now, here's another one. Remarriage.
Sure.
Right?
Sure.
It's a whole different dynamic.
Sure.
You may have blended families, children from each folks coming in. What's the situation with legacy, right? Mm-hmm. Do you want your money to go to your new wife? Do you want your money to go to just your children? How about her money? Mm-hmm. How does she want it to do?
Sure.
This is where you start to talk about some estate planning tools to make sure everybody's getting taken care of and the money's going exactly where everybody expects it to go, and where you want your money to go, and where your new spouse wants her money to go.
Yep. So the next one would be, what if you have a divorce, right? If a divorce happens, you want to think about dividing assets and liabilities, how that will go. You want to figure out alimony, child support, all of those different things. And there's a lot of paperwork involved. So you want to make sure all of that is taken care of, done properly, and you elicit the proper professionals to help you out with that, whether that be a divorce attorney or whoever else may be involved in that process.
Now, before I do the next one, I want to say all three of those, there's another thing we want to make sure we're taking care of. All of those should be times to review your beneficiaries on all your accounts.
Great point,
insurance,
Great point.
retirement accounts, all of them, because all of the things, marriage, remarriage, and divorce, you're going to probably be making some changes. The last thing you want is in a divorce, you live another 15 years and you pass away after you've remarried, and your ex-husband ends up inheriting a $500,000 life insurance policy because you forgot to change the beneficiary.
That's right.
Always, the red flag of any of these, put at the top of everyone, is check my beneficiaries.
Yeah,
is that fair?
That's definitely fair. That's definitely fair.
So the next one, job change. You've got a job change. You may have large sums of money coming. It might be a severance package or vacation pay. How do I deal with that? Well, you got to pay tax on that money, but you can kind of offset it. For example, if you put it into an IRA, you get an IRA deduction, right? So you kind of offset the taxes. Or you may pay the taxes, and if you have the ability to do it, put it into an HSA account, which we've talked about in previous videos, or a Roth account. So even though you paid the tax on it, you can guarantee that that money can grow tax-free for the rest of your life.
Yep. The next one is the birth of a child, or you adopt a child, right? So there's going to be a lot of new expenses involved with that. So you want to redo all of the expenses and budgeting that you've done up until that point.
And one other, what do? Check the beneficiaries.
Check the beneficiaries. That's exactly right. That's exactly right. Because you may want to change those to our original point. And also you want to say, hey, how is this going to impact my taxes? Excuse me. And then also, in previous videos, you can see we talked about college savings plans. You want to see, hey, do I want to implement some sort of college savings plan for this new child in your life?
Very good. Next for me, death of a spouse. This is a very tough one because you're dealing with not just huge financial changes, but huge emotional and lifestyle changes. So the trick here is to plan how this is going to work all in advance while you're both still alive. That way you don't have the emotional trauma and you're trying to figure this out. So you want it all planned out, get with your financial professional, walk through exactly what's going to happen. And if there's some things that can be fixed now to help the surviving spouse, do it now. Here's a couple of examples. We highly recommend in most cases that your accounts be joint accounts. That means when one of you passes, automatically there's nothing that has to be done. The surviving spouse keeps them.
Sure.
I would do the same thing with your cars, with your house, all of it jointly owned. So the survivor, it's called joint ownership with right of survival. They just keep it. That means that if you survive your spouse, you're not having to go down to the DMV and change the title and change the insurance and all of that hassle just because the car was in his name or in her name.
Right.
That's a biggie. The other ones are check your beneficiaries. They're going to be changing now. You're going to be inheriting money. You're going to want, who do you want to be the beneficiaries now? You used to be the beneficiary. Right. The next one is for retirement accounts. There's specific ways you can take control of those of the spouse. You can just take them over and there is no tax implications. There are situations where you might want to take them as an inherited IRA in certain situations, which is the right for you. You want to get with your financial professional before you take the money out. Once you take it out, you can't undo it. Talk about what's going on. If we take the money out, what are the tax implications and what are my other options?
Yeah, so the next one, as we hit you with these rapid fire, remember we're talking about
rapid fire.
we're talking about key dates, right? Key things that happen in your life. Retirement. That's one of the things that we help a lot of folks with. And to piggyback off of what you said, Dave, you want to put these plans in place before you actually retire, right? So you want to look at your income plan. You want to evaluate your investment strategies, both for the short term and for the long term. And we highly encourage folks to get with a financial professional, get with a firm like ours, a fiduciary investment advisory firm, to make sure you're not missing any critical pieces of information as you enter this new stage of your life called retirement.
Yeah, ideally this stuff, if you've done that with a financial advisor, this stuff's already been planned out. They're now just implementing it. The plan's all been put in place.
That's it.
Next one, severe medical issues or disability. That's always a toughie. Just like we just said with retirement, ideally you should have already talked this through with your financial team, and you know exactly what's going to happen. So if you've talked it through and you saw the need for some solution to long-term care, this will just, now there's no thinking, this will be implemented, and you'll be glad you put it together. If you haven't, get with your financial advisor and see what's the best thing to do now. Unfortunately, if you haven't planned for it, some of the options that you would have had before the disability or the medical condition may not be available now, but you just want to know what's available. Other things are there may be paperwork that has to be changed if it's not been done already. So power of attorneys, limited power of attorneys for medical directives, power of attorneys for financial matters. If you're going to be pretty soon, you see yourself unable to be handling the medical things. Checking beneficiaries, should that stuff be changed? You've got a chance to do that. If your health is waning, this is one final look as stuff's going in the way you want to do it. And any government benefits you're entitled to or your spouse, is that going to be affected at all by any of these changes?
So the last one that we're going to talk about today is parents moving in with you. What should we do from a financial perspective if your parents are moving in? So the first thing you want to think about is there any physical modifications you have to make to your home to accommodate your parents? You want to navigate any sort of cost that's associated with it, whether that be you bring someone inside the home to help take care of your parents, or if you're going to be doing any of the in-home care, how do you divvy up the expenses, How do you financially make that worth it for you? Lastly, you want to look at, hey, what are the tax implications of all of that? Now your parent is going to be a dependent of yours, So how is that going to affect your tax situation, how you file your taxes? Again, harping back on what we talked about before, you want to get with your financial professionals to see exactly how this is going to affect your finances moving forward, whether that be with your income and your expenses, or also with your tax situation as well.
Yes, sir. Plan ahead. so that you could just implement the plan when the life change happens. Get with someone who's done it before, financial professional. Think we covered it?
Yeah, I think so. So go ahead, hit the like or subscribe button to get any future updates for any of our videos, and we'll talk to you soon.
Talk to you soon.